the sound test room.
Hello and welcome to the sound test room. My name is Jakob. You're watching the attaQ show and this is a modulation tutorial. I am using Propeller head's Thor, but you can do this with any synthesizer that have routing abilities. Right now I have a patch loaded. It's something I made fairly quick. It's just a wavetable oscillator with the mixed waves 3 waveform, and it's not just one waveform, it's actually multiple waveforms, and you can switch between the waveforms using this position knob right here. I am actually modulating this using the routing window, and I'm modulating it using the modulation envelope. Go back to knobs, go here, and here you can find the modulation envelope. So right now the patch sounds like this. The modulation envelope is basically moving the position of the position knob between the waveforms when I play a key. So I can also switch the position while doing this. But this tutorial is not about doing stuff like this. No, I am going to make an automatic wobble rate switcher using the step sequencer. We are going into this tab right here, and right now we have a filter loaded. I've loaded a simple low pass ladder filter, and we are going to modulate the frequency knob using an LFO. So I'm going to expand this tab, and right here we have the LFO. I want it to sync to key and also tempo. I'm also going to start by moving the rate of the LFO up to 2/4 like that. And right now it sounds like this. Nothing, because we haven't assigned the LFO in the routing matrix to control the low pass filter. So we go to the routing window, and in source we are going to choose LFO, and in the destination window we are going to put the filter 1 frequency. We also have to pull this one up. I'm gonna pull it up to 100 so you can really hear what happens. You can hear that effect there. And if I start pulling the rate of the LFO, you can hear the wobble rate change. But I want this to happen automatically while I play. I don't want to touch the knob, and that's what we're going to do with this step sequencer. We pull it back to 2/4, and then we go to the routing window. First we need to be able to start the step sequencer. So we are going to pull this one. Right now it says sequencer off, and we're gonna pull this one to step. It's gonna play one step at a time, and we're also gonna limit the step. You can see up here what happens when I'm pulling this knob, and I'm gonna pull it down to 4 steps. That's all we need right now. So to actually start the sequencer to run, I'm just gonna start from the bottom and scroll down until I get to the MIDI key, and then gate. We're gonna send the MIDI gate to the step sequencer trigger. I'm gonna pull this one up to 100. When I press a key now, it's gonna start running, and we have it set to step, so it's gonna play one step at a time. Okay, so that works. Now we actually need the step sequencer to do something with the LFO. I want the step sequencer to change the rate of the LFO so that each step has a different rate set to it, which will make for a cool changing wobble pattern when I play the keys. And I'm gonna use the curve. When you press a button over here, it's actually this row you're looking at. So we're gonna choose curve 1, and I'm gonna start pulling these down. And this one can stay here, this one a little bit up. I think that will be good enough. Still, it's not changing anything because we haven't assigned the curve to actually control the LFO rate. So that's what we're gonna do. In the source window, we go down and choose the step sequencer. We go to curve 1, and we are going to send that to the LFO 1 rate. Turn that up. So let's listen to it. And you have to experiment with this. The first one sounds good. And then the next one we turn that up a bit. And then the next one we turn it up a bit. Like that. Let's go back to the knobs and turn down the modulation envelope a bit. I want to add something more to make it sound really cool. So we go to the keyboard and we're going to turn on the portamento and pull it up quite a bit. Now this makes for a very cool effect, but let's say you're playing live and you want to turn off the wobble rate animation. You can do that very simply by assigning an on and off function to one of these buttons. Go back to the routing window and where it says MIDI gate trigger, go to the scale. You go down to the modifiers and here's where you find the elements on the first page, on the keyboard page, right here. This is knob 1, knob 2, button 1 and button 2. Go back to the routing window, choose where the MIDI gate is, go into the scale window, go down, modifier, button 1, turn that up to 100. When I push this button, it should be off. And as you can see, the step sequencer won't be stepping at all when I play the keys. Turn it back on again. So there you have it, wobble rate animation using the step sequencer. Quite useful when you're doing live performances. I was using Propeller head's Thor, but you can actually use any synthesizer that have functions similar to this one. So go out there and make some animated wobble rates. And please, share your music, share your sounds, show us what you do. As usual, Doug Woods, Colin Sweeney and me, Jakob haQ at thesoundtestroom.com, wishes you a very productive week.